up, everybody? This is Sea Launch Sports here with Kennedy Curley and Hayden Clankhammer.
Yes.
It's been a while, so we're excited to be back.
Yes.
Game 4 tonight in the NBA Finals, and we are going to go ahead and just kind of talk about a lot of the things, a lot of the juice that has been just
Juicy.
fun over the past few days. Kyrie Irving, Carson Wentz just signed a deal today, an extension. There's a lot to talk about. So, with our first topic, let's go ahead and talk about Kyrie Irving. He, according to Stephen A. Smith and Adrian Wojnarowski, he is eyeing the Brooklyn Nets, and reportedly he's recruiting Kevin Durant right now. It's not that he will recruit Kevin Durant. He's recruiting him right now to Brooklyn. And with the Brooklyn Nets having traded Alan Crabb away to the Atlanta Hawks, that opens up the opportunity for them to, I guess, have to pretty much get rid of D'Angelo Russell, more likely than not, to make space for two max players. So, with that being said, with the reports of Kyrie being interested in the Nets, do you think that that's a good thing or a bad thing for the NBA?
If Kyrie goes to Brooklyn without Kevin Durant, it is a good thing for the NBA. If he recruits Kevin Durant with him to Brooklyn, that is a bad thing. Because, you can make the argument both of them going to New York, yes, it'd be a good team, but I wouldn't put that team above a lot of the other teams in the NBA just because New York is very barren right now in terms of other guys. I mean, they have Mitchell Robinson, but, he's really a, kind of like a Tristan Thompson a few years ago. He's really active offensively on the offensive glass. He's a better defender, much better defender than Double T, my boy. But yeah, I mean, we were looking at Brooklyn's free agents, before we started this, and they would be able to keep Dinwiddie, they'd be able to keep Jarrett Allen, they'd be able to keep Karis LeVert, and then you add in a top 3 player in the NBA, probably in Kevin Durant, and a top 15 player at the worst in Kyrie Irving. So to me, that team, I think, would have to be one of the favorites to go far. It depends how Kyrie and Kevin will really fit together. But, so yes, I would say it's bad if they both go to Brooklyn in terms of keeping the
exact opposite of a lot of what you just said. My reasoning is, so if Kyrie goes to the Nets alone, I think that's bad. And my reasoning for that is because I think Kevin Durant has been wanting to leave the Warriors to start something new, to start his own team for a while, but I think that in him looking to leave, he's been looking to partner with somebody, and that's generally been tied to New York. And so the thought this whole time was him and Kyrie would pair in New York, and maybe they'd try to get Anthony Davis, which I would hate, but it would kill the Warriors, and I don't think that they would get Anthony Davis right now, at least.
Yeah.
Maybe they could, but it would kill the Warriors. Not kill them, but it would kill the dynasty. And I think that would be good.
I agree with that part.
If Kyrie goes to the Nets, then I don't think that New York is an attractive option for Kevin Durant anymore. I think that maybe he could pair with someone like Jimmy Butler. Maybe he could pair with someone like Kemba Walker. But I just find it hard to believe that he would want to do that. Go to New York, the barren location with not really much to offer other than himself and another max player being Kyrie, as opposed to just staying in Golden State for another season or two and trying to do that. And so for me, I'm hesitant to say that it would be good. I guess it's not a guarantee that it would be bad. It just really depends, like you said, on if Kevin Durant's willing to go to the Nets with him or if Kevin Durant's willing to still stick with the Knicks. But if the Knicks if it was contingent on Kyrie joining him in New York, then I'm a little worried that he sticks with the Warriors and that we see the same story from the last 4 seasons.
So when you put it like that,
Mm.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I didn't even look at it from the way of, if Kevin Durant doesn't see Kyrie on the Knicks, then he won't leave Golden State at all.
They would be a good team for every reason that you said. Spencer Dinwiddie is still there. We've got Karis LeVert. Jarrett Allen is there. And then in the off chance that maybe D'Angelo Russell decides to stick with them, I think they can go over the cap to get him, but they would just have to renounce his his restricted
qualifying
offer. But there's a chance that he would still stick around with them. I think he'd probably go. But say you have that team all together, that's a good team. I don't think it's overwhelming like the Warriors are right now.
I agree.
And so for that reason, I don't think that would be bad for the NBA. I actually think that would be kind of fun to have a New York team finally be good. But yeah, basically, I guess I'm on the opposite end of you, and I think that your reasons are actually respectable. It could go either way because honestly, we know it sounds like Kyrie. We know that he wants to go to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Don't know what Kevin Durant's thinking.
Exactly. He's so I mean, he even just posted something on Instagram today, like, hang on. False information doesn't become true just because it's repeated. So he's very standoffish. Yeah. He's become very standoffish since leaving Oklahoma City for the Warriors.
Yeah. So, honestly, I think he got standoffish even before then. After he won the MVP, and everyone was like, oh, he called his mom the real MVP. Oh, he's so cute. He's so. Yeah. After that, I think he started to get really antagonistic with the media. It's just gotten worse since then.
Yeah.
Now it's just annoying, and so I dread the idea of him going to New York. The Knicks media is not gonna.
Well, yeah.
They're not gonna like them at all.
Yeah, but second round.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the way you put it, I think I would.
We just have no idea. Kyrie Irving, at least there's some indication of what he's probably going to do. Kevin Durant, it just seems as though this whole time we've been talking about him being tied to Kyrie going to New York, which to me, and then we've also been talking about, there's this weird idea that if the Warriors win without him, that he'll leave, and if they lose without him, that he'd be willing to stay. I don't buy that at all.
I disagree.
I think that to me, if that's true, that's pathetic. I think he just wants to leave to start something new. I think that he's ready for a new challenge.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's tied to them winning or losing. I think that we'll figure it out. But I think that would be pathetic of him to make it contingent on what happens in this series, as if if that would prove to fans that they could or couldn't win without him. Yeah. But anyway, moving on, we can go ahead and talk about Carson Wentz. He agreed to a 4-year, $128 million extension with the Philadelphia Eagles today, and he got the most guaranteed money in NFL history for a quarterback. So, Hayden, I'm really excited to hear your thoughts about this, and I'm actually really excited to talk about this. What are your thoughts on the extension?
I'm positive on it about as much as I would be in terms of if it was Dak Prescott getting this money.
Okay.
I mean, at the very least, what you can say about Dak is, he's been on the field. Carson Wentz, the year they won the Super Bowl, he missed the whole playoffs. Last year, he gets hurt again, and they go from a losing team to making the playoffs barely, yes, but, I mean, when Nick Foles came in, they were like 3 games under 500. So for me, I think it's a bit too soon. I would have wanted to see what happens in the NFL season.
Mm-hmm.
And quarterbacks continue to be more and more protected. So for me, it's about you got to stay healthy before we can even talk about what he's done on the field in order to earn the money.
Okay.
But I'm guessing you have a stronger opinion on the take.
Actually, Hayden, so I absolutely hate when quarterbacks are overpaid. I think that this whole trend of locking up quarterbacks prematurely in order to lock them up and make sure that you don't have to find other ones. I get it. I understand that it's hard to find great quarterbacks, but I just hate the idea of giving one person so much money that you can't pay everyone else. That you can't.
Yeah.
That said, I don't think that this was that giant of an exaggeration of a contract for Carson Wentz. So I think that we can make the case he's a top 10 quarterback right now. I do agree that he needs to stay healthy, but we can make that case, and I would actually make the case he's a top 5 talent of a quarterback. So him being a top 5 talent, what is it, his 4th season coming up? 3rd season?
Yeah, 4th.
4th, okay. So him being a top 5 talent, he's got all these years coming up where he's probably going to get better and better. He was arguably the MVP before he got injured that season that they did win the Super Bowl. And in all honesty, they probably would have won the Super Bowl had he stayed healthy anyway. So to me, I think that what they have is a good situation at quarterback. They're overpaying him, yes, but they're not overpaying him the same way that the Cowboys will be overpaying Dak, or that the Giants overpaid Eli Manning, or that even the Seahawks overpaid Russell Wilson, things like that. They're overpaying him, but I don't think it's nearly to the same extent that a lot of these other teams are doing so. And I also think that in large part what the Eagles have done to lock their roster up already has actually been pretty impressive. There was a list tweeted out, I can't remember who tweeted it out, of players on their roster who are very big contributors right now, who still have 3 years left on their contract. One of them is Alshon Jeffrey. We've got a bunch of defensive players on that list. And so I don't think that this deal in the immediate future makes it to where they're stripping the talent in other spots of the roster. I think that this deal just gives Carson Wentz a lot of money and makes sure that he's staying healthy, or not healthy, happy on the team for the next 4 seasons. I also think that for the Eagles, what they did was more than just affecting their own roster, but they might have gotten Dak a bigger contract because they just made the market a little bit hotter for him. I think the Eagles pretty much just hyped up his market quite a bit. And I think they did it in a way that it didn't hurt them too much either. They have a good quarterback. They have a better quarterback than anyone in the NFC East. And so I think that it was a pretty good deal. Let's think about that. Dak Prescott, Eli Manning, and then the Redskins don't really have too much. So I think that it was an appropriate deal compared to the rest of the NFL quarterbacks who are getting overpaid.
Okay. All right.
Slightly overpaid, but not overpaid to a crazy degree.
All right. I just find it interesting that you were able to sit there and actually utter the words that the Eagles have the best quarterback in the NFC.
NFC East.
East.
NFC, no. You still have Aaron Rodgers. You still have Drew Brees.
Okay. All right. I was going to say, make sure you mention a certain 40-year-old.
But see, in a few seasons, once he's retired, Carson Wentz, and even Aaron Rodgers, as he gets a little older, Carson Wentz is probably the best young quarterback in the NFC.
Talent-wise, I would put him top 5 in the NFL in terms of talent-wise.
Yeah.
But you just got to stay healthy, man. I
agree.
So I think it depends on what happens this coming season for me.
Okay.
It could be a really good steal in terms of all the other quarterbacks, like you said. Everyone keeps talking about Dak is about to get $200 million, which, if that happens, I can't wait.
Do you want to talk about that right now? We didn't have this planned, but do you want to talk about your opinion of Dak Prescott getting paid $200 million?
You can start because.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start because I was thinking about this, Hayden, and I came up with a list of 15 quarterbacks who I think are better than Dak Prescott right now. I think that Dak Prescott is a middle of the league starting quarterback right now. He could get better. I'm not going to deny that.
I agree. He's young.
Future.
He's athletic. Potential is there for sure.
Potential's there.
100%.
He's fine. He's a solid quarterback. But as far as production in his first 3 seasons, I think that there are 15 quarterbacks that I think I would probably take over Dak Prescott. I'm going to tell you who. Just right now. Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
I would take Ben Roethlisberger.
Mm-hmm.
You could make the case for Baker Mayfield, but I'm not going to count him just yet.
Mm-hmm.
But so that's 2. We've got Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got Andrew Luck, Phillip Rivers, and Patrick Mahomes. That's in the AFC. That's 6 quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
In the NFC, I've got Carson Wentz.
Yep.
I would take Kirk Cousins over Dak Prescott. I would take Aaron Rodgers. I would take Matt Stafford. I would take Drew Brees. I would take Matt Ryan, Cam Newton, and I would take Russell Wilson. I would take Jared Goff. That's 15 quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't pay a non-15 quarterback.
Preach. Ladies and gentlemen, this is
money.
coming from a Cowboys fan that is unbiased right here.
Yeah,
so
everyone
give a round of applause for an unbiased Cowboys fan.
Look, I'm rooting for Dak. I even think that we should extend him just because I know that right now is our time. We have a good roster outside of him.
I agree. I just don't think it should be $200 million.
Yeah, I just don't. If we're going to pay him $200 million, I think it needs to be next season.
I agree.
Because I want him to show me this season that he can improve his passing skills enough to maybe pass it. About that, or is that just, do you want to leave it at that?
I'll leave it at that because I feel like if I keep going, I will underplay. I don't think Dak Prescott is bad. I come on here a lot and I hate on the Cowboys because that's kind of my job to be the bad guy, but I don't think he's a bad quarterback at all. I think he's a average NFL quarterback.
Okay.
I would say average, right in the middle, like you said. I agree with all 15 that you mentioned, ahead of him. And, speaking for, our real biased Cowboy friend, he would argue, maybe like Deshaun Watson or someone like that. But I would say if you put Deshaun Watson on the Cowboys and he has Zeke as a running back and that offensive line, he put up great stats.
I think Deshaun Watson, I don't understand why people think that Dak is better than Deshaun Watson. I think Deshaun Watson is miles ahead of Dak Prescott.
I agree.
If you asked me to trade Dak Prescott for Deshaun Watson right now, I would take it. I would pay you. I would give you $20 out of my pocket. I don't have $20 on me, but I'd give it to you. I would take that Deshaun Watson in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
The only one, I think that you could even make the case, we haven't seen the production yet, but the 49ers quarterback,
Jimmy Garoppolo,
you could make the case that he's worthy of a higher contract than Dak.
I think he's a better thrower than Dak.
Yeah.
Dak has to improve on throwing the ball. We know he can run. We know he's athletic. Mm-hmm. We know he's a decent game manager.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see him win games with
quicker. I think that he waits a little too long at times. I don't think his mid-range accuracy is that bad, nor is his short range, but his long range, I don't know if it's bad necessarily, but he definitely
made a great throw down the field where it was like dropped in between two guys. And then there was another time where I forgot who it was, but he was running wide open. He would have walked into the end zone, and Dak literally overthrew him by like almost 10 yards.
Yeah.
So, I just think it's consistency on the deep ball for me more than anything.
Right. Well, we've talked enough about Dak Prescott probably.
Yes.
In a conversation that was mostly supposed to be Carson Wentz, but we can move on to the last topic that we have, which is the NBA Finals. So started off 1-0, Toronto won, fair and square. Kawhi Leonard was okay, but the rest of the team was good.
Mm-hmm.
Klay Thompson was healthy. Game 2, he got hurt. They still won. Game 3, it was just too much for the Warriors. What are your thoughts on what has happened, and what do you have to predict for the upcoming matchups?
First off, 23 points, 9 assists, shot well, 50% from the field, 5 of 9 from 3.
Mm-hmm.
Danny Green looks like Spurs Danny Green when they won the championship.
Looks like North Carolina championship Danny Green.
Well, yeah. 6 of 10 from 3. All of his shots were 3-point shots, which is, you have to be able to – you're not going to completely stop the Warriors. You have to be able to score. So, all starters scored above 15 points. So, yes, Kawhi Leonard gets the recognition, but it's been everyone. It's been everyone. And that's how it can't be one guy. We saw that last year even. Game 1, LeBron goes for 51, and they still lose.
Yeah.
I mean, and another thing. Let me ask you this question.
Okay.
As a LeBron fan, why does, when LeBron has great games but still loses with an average to terrible supporting cast, and then Steph has big games and everyone feels bad for him? Is it because he's a good-looking basketball player? What is that about?
So this is not my answer, because I agree with you. I think that if we're going to hold Steph Curry to that standard, we should hold LeBron James to that standard, or vice versa. But I think most people would say because LeBron is the greatest of all time, if you will, he should be held to a higher standard, which I disagree with. At the end of the day, if you don't have good teammates, you're probably not going to end up winning. And LeBron James, I think in Game 3, Steph Curry for once had a team that was similar to LeBron James' previous teams. Just because obviously Kyrie, I get Kawhi Leonard and Klay Thompson confused a lot just because of the Ks.
Yeah.
Klay Thompson was out. Kevin Durant's out. DeMarcus Cousins is iffy with his leg, but he's playing. I think that a lot of people are kind of giving him the benefit of the doubt just because a lot of his current roster and a lot of the core of it is gone. But I agree with you. I think that if you're gonna get on to LeBron for not winning despite his good games, then you should probably do that to Steph Curry. Or we should all just be fair and say Steph Curry played phenomenally.
See, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm not taking anything away from Steph. I mean, the dude finally, decided to show up a little bit.
Yeah.
He balled out for sure. But I found that interesting. I just thought I would ask.
Yeah.
But so I say the Warriors win tonight, and it goes back to Toronto 2-2. And that's as far as I'm going to predict because I don't know the situation of Kevin Durant. I still think the Warriors will end up being too much. I'm at a point where I think I've learned to know better than, just because the Warriors are down in the series, oh my gosh, they're finally going to lose. But, again, I think I would be the happiest person. I think I would be the happiest I've ever been to be wrong. If the Raptors end up winning the title. Yeah. And good for Kawhi Leonard, by the way, if that does happen.
He's averaging over 20 points in this series. And then Kawhi Leonard's playing like Kawhi Leonard. He hasn't exploded yet, but he's played pretty well.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with what the Raptors – I didn't think – so coming from someone who – well, no, actually, I'm not even going to mention this. I think a lot of people last series when they were playing the Bucks were not impressed with the surrounding cast of Kawhi Leonard because of how close it was against the 76ers in the series before that. Everyone was expecting the Bucks surrounding cast to just outperform all of the Raptors. And
I agree.
I think that the Raptors since have shown that they have better players than just Kawhi Leonard. They have, Kyle Lowry stepped up, and Kyle Lowry, as you said, has been someone who has been doubted a lot because over the years there was underperforming on his part, and mostly probably on DeMar DeRozan's part.
A lot of it was DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, but I think now we're starting to realize was DeMar DeRozan, who probably needed to perform better. But Kyle Lowry, I'm really impressed with him. And if he's an NBA champion, and what is he, a 5-time All-Star?
Yeah.
I'm not saying he is a Hall of Famer, but you could certainly start to have that discussion a little bit. Where I'm going with the future, I think so. Klay Thompson comes back tonight, and I think that the Warriors will win. I agree with you. I think that they'll win this game, but I think it'll be very close. I'm actually really excited for this.
I agree. I'm very excited.
And I say, I even think that the Raptors could win this one again. But I'm not saying that.
I do too, because, yes, Kawhi had 30 points, but we still haven't seen him just explode.
It's been a quiet 30 points, which is very
Yeah.
But part of that is just because the rest of the team has really stepped up.
Oh, yeah.
I think, though, that Klay Thompson coming back, it's just too much tonight at home. And I think that I'm going to say, under the assumption that Kevin Durant doesn't come back, and they're talking about him coming back in Game 5. They've been saying that for the past 2 weeks now. So
He's supposed to be back in Game 2. So
yeah. There's been that elephant in the room for a long time. Yeah. I'm just going to say, if he does not come back, I still have the Raptors in 7. The Raptors have just taken home court advantage back.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, if Kevin Durant's not back in Game 5, I have the Raptors winning that one. I have them winning in Game 7. I think that Kawhi Leonard is bound to have one of those explosive games sometime soon.
I agree.
And the way that Kyle Lowry has played, and I don't think that anyone's done a good job on Pascal Siakam just yet. And he hasn't even been making his threes. He's just been scoring on the rim and mid-range. I think that the Raptors will end up winning this series. If Kevin Durant comes back, we should have another conversation about this, obviously.
Yeah.
But my prediction, Toronto, and I've been really impressed with Toronto. So
I agree. Toronto has made me look bad. But again, like I said, I've never been so excited to look bad because I'm ready. I'm ready for someone to finally punch Golden State in the mouth and give them almost a wake-up call.
Yeah.
You can't just literally coast through whenever you want and, act like you're a bunch of gods.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited. If Toronto wins tonight, that's massive. That I would say the series is over.
They could end up winning this in 5.
If Toronto wins tonight, I would go as far to say the series is over because they're going back to Toronto for Game 5, and I just think that place is. Yeah.
So both of us mentioned Kyle Lowry. Do you think that the whole incident with the pushing of the
that's ridiculous. That's completely unacceptable.
Yeah.
Did you see what his punishment was?
A year ban and $500,000.
Yeah, I think it should have been more, to be honest. But if a player would have pushed a general manager, the player would have been in a lot more trouble, I feel like. Or whatever he is, part-time owner or part owner, whatever. Yeah, that was unacceptable.
Yeah, the player probably would have been punished monetarily the same amount. Probably wouldn't have been banned for a year, but they probably would have gotten the same financial punishment.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about the punishment just yet, but what I do have to say is it just made me admire Kyle Lowry even more that all he did was turn around and just yell at him,
I agree. I agree.
Russell Westbrook would have probably tried to fight him, or Kevin Durant might have even tried to fight him. Kyle Lowry just turned and started yelling at him like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
To me, that as much as I guess you could make the argument he didn't need to do that. I think that was warranted, and I think that
I have no.
To me, that was control. That was actually a controlled reaction. He
did
what anyone else would have done.
If I was in the middle of a game and someone literally pushed me from the stands, I would have reacted much. Yeah.
No, I think that was awesome. But
great job to Kyle Lowry, and I'm not even really a Kyle Lowry fan, but I mean,
I am now.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, hats off to Kyle Lowry.
Yep.
For sure.
Well, that's all we have today. So if you were listening, go ahead and give us a follow on Twitter @LunchSports.
Yes.
DM us any of your ideas, any of your thoughts. If you just want to talk basketball, whatever, give us a follow. And we'll be back on, I believe, tomorrow, actually. We'll discuss the game tonight, and then we'll discuss some other things, too. So be on, stay listening. We'll see y'all later.
Bye.